Harry Potter's summer break at his aunt and uncle's house was as awful as always. The Dursleys, his only living relatives, treated him more like a burden than family. Harry spent most of his days doing chores and being scolded for things he didn't do. The only solace he found was in the memories of his time at Hogwarts, the magical school where he truly felt at home. Every night he would lie in bed staring at the ceiling, wishing he could be back with his friends and away from the oppressive atmosphere of the Dursleys' house. He really missed Hogwarts, his magic school. The grand castle, the enchanted classrooms, and the camaraderie of his friends were a stark contrast to the dull and dreary life he led at Privet Drive. He longed for the excitement of Quidditch matches, the thrill of discovering new spells, and the warmth of the great hall filled with laughter and chatter. Hogwarts was not just a school, it was a sanctuary where he felt valued and understood. One night, as Harry was drifting off to sleep, a weird little creature popped up in his room. Startled, Harry sat up and grabbed his glasses. The creature had large bat-like ears and bulging green eyes, the size of tennis balls. It was unlike anything Harry had ever seen before. The creature introduced itself as Dobby, a house elf, and Harry could tell immediately that something was terribly wrong. Dobby was visibly distressed, wringing his hands and shifting nervously from foot to foot. He had a scary warning for Harry. "Harry Potter must not go back to Hogwarts," Dobby said, his voice trembling with fear. "Terrible things are going to happen there. Dobby has seen it, sir. Dobby knows it is true." Harry was taken aback. Why would a house elf come all this way to warn him? And what could possibly be so dangerous at Hogwarts? He said Hogwarts was dangerous this year and begged Harry not to go back. Dobby's eyes were wide with desperation as he pleaded with Harry to stay away. "Please, sir, heed Dobby's warning. Dobby only wants to protect Harry Potter. Dobby has heard things, terrible things, and he fears for Harry Potter's safety." Harry's mind raced with questions. What kind of danger could be lurking at Hogwarts? And why was Dobby so adamant about keeping him away? Dobby even used magic to block the way to the train platform. On the day Harry was supposed to return to Hogwarts, he found himself unable to pass through the magical barrier at King's Cross Station. It was as if an invisible wall had been erected, preventing him from reaching platform 9 3/4. Harry realized that Dobby was behind this, using his magic to stop him from boarding the Hogwarts Express. But Harry was determined to get back to school, no matter what obstacles stood in his way. But Harry was determined to return to school. He couldn't let Dobby's warning deter him. Hogwarts was his home, and he needed to be there. With a resolute heart, Harry packed his belongings and prepared to find another way to get to Hogwarts. He knew he couldn't do it alone, and he was grateful for the support of his best friends, Ron and Hermione, who were just as determined to help him. With his best friends, Ron and Hermione, Harry found a secret way to get to Hogwarts. They discovered a hidden passage that led them straight to the castle. It was a risky move, but they were willing to take the chance. The passage was dark and winding, filled with cobwebs and the echoes of their footsteps. But the thought of returning to Hogwarts kept their spirits high, and they pressed on with determination. What dangers were waiting for them? As they finally emerged from the passage and stepped into the familiar grounds of Hogwarts, a sense of foreboding washed over them. The castle, usually so welcoming, seemed to hold an air of mystery and unease. Harry couldn't shake the feeling that Dobby's warning was just the beginning of something much bigger and more sinister. The corridors were darker, the shadows longer, and an eerie silence hung in the air. Harry had a bad feeling Dobby's warning was just the beginning of something spooky. As he looked around, he couldn't help but feel a chill run down his spine. The night was misty and dark, and the sense of foreboding was almost palpable. Harry knew that whatever lay ahead, he would face it with courage and the support of his friends. But deep down, he couldn't shake the feeling that this year at Hogwarts would be unlike any other, filled with challenges and dangers they had never encountered before. The way to the train was blocked. The platform was packed with people, all trying to get on board. Harry, Ron and Hermione pushed through the crowd, but it was no use. The train's whistle blew, and the Hogwarts Express began to move without them. Harry, Ron and Hermione missed the Hogwarts Express. They watched helplessly as the train chugged away, leaving them stranded. Panic set in as they realized they had no way to get to school. The station grew quieter, and the reality of their situation began to sink in. They needed another way to get to school. The trio huddled together, brainstorming ideas. Hermione suggested sending an owl to Professor McGonagall, but that would take too long. Ron paced back and forth, muttering about how his parents would kill him if they found out. Harry, trying to stay calm, looked around for any possible solution. Ron had a crazy idea: fly his dad's magic car. His eyes lit up as he remembered the enchanted Ford Anglia. "We can use the car!" he exclaimed. Harry and Hermione exchanged doubtful glances, but knew they had no other choice. With a mix of excitement and trepidation, they agreed to the plan. They zoomed through the sky, the wind blowing in their hair. The car soared above the clouds, giving them a breathtaking view of the countryside below. For a moment, they felt a sense of freedom and exhilaration. Harry couldn't help but smile as they flew past birds and over rivers. But then the car started to make funny noises and went down, down, down. The engine sputtered and the car jerked violently. Panic set in as they realized something was terribly wrong. Ron gripped the steering wheel tightly, trying to keep the car steady, but it was no use. They were losing altitude fast. They crashed into a scary tree called the Whomping Willow at Hogwarts. The impact was jarring, and the tree's branches whipped around angrily. The car groaned under the pressure, and the kids were thrown about inside. It was a chaotic and terrifying moment. What a way to arrive at school! They stumbled out of the wrecked car, shaken but unharmed. The Whomping Willow continued to thrash, but they managed to escape its reach. They looked at each other, their faces a mix of relief and disbelief. They had made it to Hogwarts, but not in the way they had expected. They knew things were going to be interesting. As they dusted themselves off and headed towards the castle, they couldn't help but wonder what other adventures awaited them. The school year had just begun, and it was already off to a wild start. Harry, Ron and Hermione exchanged knowing smiles, ready to face whatever came next. Back at Hogwarts, something creepy happened. Written on the walls in red paint were scary words. "The Chamber of Secrets has been opened. Enemies of the air, beware." Everyone at school was scared and suspicious. Kids whispered about the Chamber of Secrets, a hidden room with a scary monster inside. Harry, Ron and Hermione wanted to find out the truth. They thought their enemy, Draco Malfoy, might be involved. As they looked for clues, more weird things happened. Something bad was hiding in the castle. Their adventure took them to the Forbidden Forest, where the Whomping Willow lived. This wasn't a normal tree. Its branches hit anything that got close. Harry and Ron almost got seriously hurt by the angry tree. They found a secret tunnel under the tree that went deep underground. Even though it was dangerous, they went into the darkness, looking for answers. It was super quiet, and they could only hear their own footsteps. What secrets were they about to find? Hermione loved to read, and she thought the answers were in the Hogwarts library. She found a secret section that students weren't allowed in. There, an old book told the story of Salazar Slytherin and the Chamber of Secrets. The book said Slytherin made the chamber and hid a monster in it. The book also talked about Parseltongue, a way to talk to snakes. Harry suddenly remembered he could talk to snakes. Could this be the key to solving the mystery? Harry, Ron and Ron's brother George followed clues into the Forbidden Forest. The forest was dense and eerie, filled with the sounds of unknown creatures rustling in the underbrush. The moonlight barely penetrated the thick canopy, casting long, ominous shadows on the forest floor. The trio moved cautiously, their flashlights cutting through the foggy night, illuminating the path ahead. They were on a mission, driven by a mix of curiosity and fear, to uncover the secrets hidden within the depths of the forest. They met Aragog, a huge talking spider. Aragog's massive form loomed over them, his many eyes glinting in the darkness. He was an acromantula, a species of giant spider capable of human speech. His voice was deep and resonant, echoing through the forest as he spoke. The sight of Aragog was both terrifying and fascinating, a creature of legend standing before them. Despite his fearsome appearance, Aragog was not hostile, but rather curious about the visitors in his domain. Aragog was friends with Hagrid, who took care of the school grounds. Hagrid had raised Aragog from an egg, and the giant spider considered him a dear friend. Hagrid's love for magical creatures was well known, and his bond with Aragog was a testament to his kind heart. The forest was Hagrid's second home, a place where he could connect with the magical creatures he adored. Aragog spoke fondly of Hagrid, reminiscing about the times they had spent together. Aragog didn't know who opened the chamber, but he said the monster was so scary that even spiders were afraid of it. The Chamber of Secrets was a place of dark legend, and the creature within it was feared by all. Aragog described the monster as something beyond comprehension, a terror that even the bravest of spiders would flee from. The fear in Aragog's voice was palpable, a chilling reminder of the dangers that lurked within the magical world. The trio listened intently, their hearts pounding as they absorbed the gravity of Aragog's words. As they ran away from Aragog's spider family, Harry saw something shiny. The forest was alive with movement as the spiders began to stir, sensing the presence of intruders. Harry, Ron and George sprinted through the underbrush, their breaths coming in ragged gasps. The ground was uneven, and the trees seemed to close in around them. Amidst the chaos, Harry's keen eyes caught a glint of something metallic on the forest floor. He skidded to a halt, his curiosity piqued despite the danger. It was a diary that belonged to a student named Tom Riddle a long time ago. The diary was old and weathered, its pages yellowed with age. Harry picked it up, feeling a strange sense of connection to the object. The name Tom Riddle was inscribed on the cover, a name that seemed vaguely familiar. This diary was more than just an old book. It was a link to the past, a piece of the puzzle they were trying to solve. Harry felt a shiver run down his spine as he realized the significance of his discovery. The diary had a dark secret. As Harry opened the diary, he felt a surge of magic emanating from its pages. The diary was not just a record of events, it was a vessel of dark power. The pages seemed to whisper secrets, revealing glimpses of a sinister past. Tom Riddle had left behind more than just words. He had imprinted a part of his soul into the diary. Harry knew that this discovery was crucial, a key to unlocking the mysteries of the Chamber of Secrets and the dark forces at play. Harry found out that Ginny Weasley, Ron's little sister, was controlled by Tom Riddle's diary. Tom Riddle was really Lord Voldemort, the bad guy who killed Harry's parents. Voldemort used Ginny to open the Chamber of Secrets and let the monster out. Harry took his wand and followed Ginny into the chamber. He found a huge snake called a basilisk. The basilisk's eyes were dangerous, and Harry knew this was his biggest challenge yet. Dumbledore's magic bird, Fawkes, helped Harry fight the basilisk. Harry talked to the snake using Parseltongue, but the basilisk still tried to hurt him. When it looked like Harry might lose, Fawkes brought him the sorting hat. Inside the hat was a magic sword. Harry used the sword to kill the basilisk. Then he destroyed the diary and Ginny was free from Voldemort. Harry saved Hogwarts and his friends. He was a true hero.